On April 20th, 2010, the Deepwater Horizon disaster changed the lives of millions living near the Gulf of Mexico, as well as the scientists who responded to the crisis. These are some of their stories, intimate portraits of research, innovation, discovery. Welcome, I'm Jim McNamee, editor of Dispatches from the Gulf, a series of documentaries, short videos, and podcasts. In today's podcast, Dr. Cynthia Smith, dolphin doctor, tells us about her work taking care of dolphins for the U.S. Navy. We met with her at a naval base in San Diego, California.
My name is Dr. Cynthia Smith, and I'm the Executive Director and the Director of Medicine for the National Marine Mammal Foundation. Ever since I was a little girl, I knew that I wanted to be a scientist, and I really adored marine mammals and was so intrigued by marine mammal science. And really, it wasn't until I got to college that I realized that I could also be a veterinarian that focused on marine mammals. So I was able to bring the two together and become a marine mammal veterinarian.
We should have it on standby.
Every day when we show up to work in our support role for the Navy's marine mammals, we make sure that we're doing everything we can to provide them the best possible care. And part of that is this relationship that develops between our animal care experts and the animals. So with that relationship, we can really make a lot of things happen, and we can provide better care because they trust us to participate in their medical exams. My colleagues are working one-on-one, a trainer with an animal, on their daily physical exam. So we're just checking to make sure everything looks good, and we use that as kind of a barometer for how are things going. And anytime something pops up unusual, they immediately alert their veterinary technician, who then informs the veterinarian, and then we can quickly come in and make sure that everything's okay. The Navy's marine mammals are one of the best studied populations of dolphins in the world. And part of that is because one of the veterinary missions for the Navy's animals is to provide them the best possible care. And that comes all the way from the Secretary of the Navy. He dictates that they get this really amazing care. So that provides the veterinarians with all kinds of resources. So we can do ultrasound, we can do endoscopy. If we need to go get a CT scan, we can do that too. So just by caring for them, we're learning all of this great information, this rich information that then we're applying to the conservation of their wild counterparts. So we're taking everything we learn from the Navy dolphin population and directly applying it to conservation medicine.
The rigor of the Navy's marine mammal program means veterinarians like Cynthia can provide insights into dolphin health in other populations like in the Gulf of Mexico, where the dolphins have been struggling with low fertility and lost pregnancies.
So the Navy's marine mammals, because of the way they're housed, living here in sea pens, they're very similar to wild dolphins, but one important difference is that they spend part of their day with us. So that allows us to care for them, and that allows us to study them and learn from them. And that's extremely unique. That's not something that's happening with wild dolphins. So we leverage that constantly. We're trying to always take better care of them, but then also utilize that information to protect their wild counterparts. Every day we've been training for a mission like what's happening in the Gulf of Mexico. Those dolphins have been affected by the Deepwater Horizon Oil Spill, and the only way to really understand that is to study animals like this that are healthy and in good shape, and then actually track them if they do get sick. We know what to treat and what not to treat, so that way when we go to the Gulf of Mexico and we have an hour, we just have 1 hour to try to figure out, are they sick, are they healthy? We do that because we've been studying them here for decades. So for this project, we're interested in why are so many dolphins in the Gulf of Mexico losing their young.
We joined Cynthia and veterinarian Forrest Gomez for an exam on a dolphin they've been monitoring. They suspect this dolphin may be in the very early stages of pregnancy.
Right now, the animal has been asked to lay out in what's called a side present. So the animal is just resting in Don's arms, allowing Forrest to then take a close look at the reproductive tract of the animal. So she's going to quickly look to see if she can identify a fetus or fluid in the uterine horn on the left side. The reason we like to start on the left is because dolphins are most often pregnant in their left uterine horn. So if you're going to check, it's good to check the left side first because you're more likely to find a baby on the left side.
Uterine fluid up here at the top. Let's go ahead and decrease the depth. Perfect. So I'm not seeing a fetus, and before we see a fetus, we see fluid in the uterus. And I'm not seeing that yet either, but what I am seeing is some activity on her ovary.
So why this information is so valuable is we can actually track this pregnancy as often as makes sense for her health. So at least monthly, if not more often, and then really understand how are things changing, how does the ovary look, how does the fetus look, how does the placenta look, and then how does that correlate with a successful reproductive outcome.
Cynthia and her colleagues don't have any concrete answers about what's specifically harming dolphins off the coast of Louisiana and Mississippi. But every successful pregnancy back in San Diego gives them a better perspective for understanding the future for dolphins in the Gulf of Mexico.
What we're trying to figure out is why so many of the Barataria Bay and Mississippi Sound dolphins aren't able to carry their pregnancies either to full term or they're not able to care for their babies. So everything we can learn here, taking care of this healthy group of animals, this healthy population of bald-nosed dolphins, and tracking those pregnancies and correlating it with outcome, all of that information is helping us better understand and better diagnose wild dolphins living in Louisiana and Mississippi.
Today, thousands of scientists, oceanographers, chemists, engineers, biologists are all working together to develop newer and better ways to understand and ease the impact of oil spills. To learn more about their work, visit our webpage at dispatchesfromthegulf.com. Funding for this podcast was provided by a grant by the Gulf of Mexico Research Initiative. And thanks for listening.